In the original Jurassic Park, Dennis Nedry fails in delivering the Barbasol can with dinosaur embryos to the dock, and pays the ultimate price for trying to backstab the corporation. But his failed attempt has left a mysterious absence of the rival genetics company in further sequels, with Lewis Dodgson himself only showing back up in stories set like 30 years after this initial incident. But with some new information about to come out in the lore, we may have a very disturbing reason for this absence that could even have big implications for the franchise going forward. Look, I've been making Jurassic Park videos for over 7 years now, and after going through the releases of Fallen Kingdom, Dominion, and now Jurassic World Rebirth set for release next year, I think that we may finally have something extremely cool to talk about. What's going on, guys? Hope you're all doing well. So ever since Jurassic Park Survival was revealed, there have been a lot of theories and speculation regarding how this first-person video game is going to handle being set directly after the first movie. This is Jurassic Park Survival, not World. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go with this. And with the tease of not only the raptor getting released from the freezer in the new game, but also the inclusion of additional velociraptors we didn't even know about, and gameplay that looks like it's going to be the closest thing we've ever got to a Trespasser sequel, I think the new game and even the new movie actually does have a lot of people interested. But from some of the info that we've been given recently, I also think that there may be a return of something else that I haven't seen too many people talking about, and if done right, it could be legitimately scary. Jurassic Park Survival is set literally hours after the events of the 1993 film. As one of the things we were told early on about the project, there's going to be, quote, intense science fiction terror with death and violence from dinosaurs against humans and against other dinosaurs. Now, I mentioned this briefly in a previous video I did on the game that you can check out, but the tease that there will actually be other people on the island getting attacked by dinosaurs suggests a pretty interesting story point that I think could help make this game not only relevant to the first movie, but also even help redeem some aspects of a company that was utilized in some of the newer entries, BioSyn. We know that Miyazaki is going to be on the island from the trailer, but with additional human beings that they are promising will get attacked by dinosaurs, there's something going on here. One of the biggest questions Jurassic Park fans have had following the original movie from 1993 is what happened to BioSyn, the company that hired Nedry to steal those dinosaur embryos during the storm that hit the island. Well, in the Lost World novel by Michael Klayton, we learn that Dodgson still wanted to take a crack at stealing engine material, and even sets up an expedition to Isla Sorna, where he attempts to take dinosaur eggs. It ends disastrously, as you probably figured out, but unfortunately the company never showed up in a sequel until Jurassic World Dominion, and their reputation kind of got lessened as an antagonizing force in the series. But what if they actually did show up to collect the Barbasol can after Nedry never made it back to the boat? And the reason we never got to see them was because none of them made it out of the island alive. What if BioSyn is in Jurassic Park Survival? And what if their involvement in the game is actually significant and they pose some sort of threat to not only Miyazaki, but also anyone else trying to help escort the scientists off of Isla Nublar? Think about it. After Dennis Nedry's mission to the Dawkins and failure in the first Jurassic Park, the cryocan was lost, and Dodgson's plan to retrieve stolen dinosaur embryos would pretty much go unaddressed until the Camp Cretaceous and Jurassic World Dominion story points, which is kind of ridiculous in relation to the Michael Crichton books. And even then, in the later entries, it wasn't really done justice, in my opinion. I mean, the plan to retrieve the embryos was kind of the whole point of Dodson's sabotage of the park on the island. Dodgson was going to pay Nedry $1.5 million to do it, and even in Dominion, we just get the cryocan as a sort of relic in that movie with zero context. I remember my sister actually leaned over to me in the theater during that scene and was like, is that supposed to be the guy from the first movie? And if people have to ask questions like that in the theater, I don't really think the filmmakers have done their jobs right. So with that being said, I think the idea of Jurassic Park Survival actually providing people to pursue Miyazaki on the island, and in doing so, even get killed by velociraptors, the Tyrannosaurus Rex, or even Dilophosaurs, just makes a lot of sense. Other stories that are now no longer canon included secret missions where BioSyn would try to sneak onto the island, like in Jurassic Park Trespasser and the 2011 Telltale game. So what better way for them to do the company justice than actually showing them in this newer video game? And what if they actually do bring Dodgson back in this story and make him out to be more like he was in the Michael Klayton novels, which was a way more disturbing guy? Now, I will admit, that's probably a bit of a stretch because I don't really know if they even want to go anywhere around that character, but BioSyn does seem like a really logical decision to include in the video game, especially if it's something of an antagonistic threat like the synthetics in Alien Isolation. And Dodgson could very well show up in at least a cameo if they wanted him to. It's just a shame that they made him trip over the Barbasol can in the TV show instead of actually giving it a little bit of reverence for the films.
Really could have used this 25 years ago.
Boo! The thing is, if BioSyn makes it back in this direct sequel to the original Jurassic Park, none of them are likely to make it off of the island alive. This could be what explains where they were following the events of the 1993 movie. After trying to clean up Nedry's mess from the first Jurassic Park, they snuck back onto the island to collect the can and even take anyone out that may unfortunately be a witness. The company is notorious for doing stuff like this, especially Lewis Dodgson, but maybe they bit off a little bit more than they could chew showing up on that island. And instead of getting a payday, they made Isla Nublar their final resting place. So look guys, if this is a viable theory, the idea of BioSyn appearing in Jurassic Park Survival would obviously affect the gameplay in some very crucial ways, depending on whether or not the characters are trying to go after you or if they try to lie about their exact reasons for being on the island, so it's like a double cross. You could have more of a story-driven experience with extensive dialogue, possible set pieces involving vehicles or heavy equipment operated by other humans, and maybe even something of a link for the video game to other entries like The Lost World or Jurassic World Dominion or even the new movie Jurassic World Rebirth. They haven't really revealed anything to do with BioSyn yet, but the only other thing I can think of is for additional survivors to be stuck on the island that didn't make it to the dock in time, like Maya Joshi, which I guess isn't too unbelievable, but I don't really know how we've never heard of their deaths before this entry. I mean, sure, I guess we don't really need to, but after Joffrey gets killed by a raptor in Jurassic Park, it kind of kicked off the whole inspection operation that was the driving force of the plot. So for additional people to get attacked by dinosaurs and for us to never really hear about them, this seems a little less likely than BioSyn sneaking onto the island and all of them getting killed. Because you know, they're not even supposed to be there, so maybe InGen, if they even found out, would just look the other way. Know what I'm saying?
Family of John Arnold, 23 million. Family of Robert Muldoon, 12.6 million.
Now, admittedly, I think BioSyn is an inclusion that isn't 100% likely, but I am leaning in that direction of them appearing in at least some capacity in the game because of the reported dinosaurs attacking humans element in the story outside of Maya Joshi. And this game in general, set right after the 1993 movie, is very similar to the Telltale game from 2011, which was doing the same thing. This could really be a cool theory if it comes to light and true in the video game itself, explain what happened to BioSyn, why they never showed up in the Lost World, and why they've kind of been in the shadows, and there's the cryokin in Dodgson's lab or trophy room or whatever it is in Dominion. But anyways guys, that's just my own thoughts and opinions on the subject matter. Please let me know down in the comments section what you think about this and what your overall expectations are for Jurassic Park Survival. Whatever your own thoughts and opinions happen to be, I'd love to know all about them in the comments down below. Now before I go, I want to thank everyone that's helped me build my channel over the years. I'd also like to thank every one of you guys who've watched my stuff. You've all been extremely cool to me. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate a like and hope that you'll consider subscribing. God bless you all, Christ is King, see you guys in the next video, and as always, take it easy.